ate noodles with no packet, cereal with the canned milk.
Nothing short of a disaster. He's done several interviews already. He's constantly being misquoted, and the biggest platform in hip-hop is on his head top, and that is academics. And I do think there's a solution for this for Jay-Z, although I think things are in motion and he should have planned this better. But first, we're going to start off with one clip from a previous video that I did, where it's the one that spread the most about this Jay-Z interview.
I tell people all the time, never fight against the future. The future's coming. Artists, they were trying to recreate something that was already done, but they're not connected to it like that. They're not living it and breathing it. They were fighting against gravity, as opposed to telling their story. We needed that other side. We needed to hear about what happens when you...
What are you talking about? What is he talking about? Can someone explain to me what he's saying? And this rollout, is it a rollout of what? Another book? Or is this going to be finally a proper Jay-Z album where he's not making it where, what is it? The thing that he did with Samsung where Magna Carta magically went platinum the first day it was released? It was just some stupid thing, dude.
Had 4 successful albums. What happens? What is that feeling like? How do you make the next one? How did you get in the studio? How are your kids? How do you interact with them as this hip hop dad? But if you're trying to make young music and you're not young, it's going to be inauthentic and people can feel it. You can smell it.
Is he talking to me or is he talking to Will Smith? Because didn't Will Smith do this exact same thing? Is this like a diss album to Will Smith specifically? Yo, shout out to Jay-Z, yo.
So the best thing that anyone can do, like going through music, is to tell a story and just keep creating from that space. I love what the clips are doing right now and how it's authentic to them. And they're telling the story about their mom and dad who just passed away and how deep that is, with John Legend singing on the chorus, and everything that they've been through is an authentic display, a piece of classic material that it could have came out 96 or come out 2026. It still feels the same because it's real and it's authentic to who they are.
So I defended Jay-Z because this was taken out of context and I felt like he was being misinterpreted.
You see, I'm gonna say the elephant.
How do you guys misinterpret this? And who is misinterpreting it? DJ Academics?
In the room, man. This is hate Jay-Z once again. He talking to Drake, man. You know Drake turning 40 this year. He try to like, yo, he one of them type of gonna give you the bad advice that hopefully you follow. And then when you get unsuccessful, he be like, well, at least you tried. At least them people be like, well, at least you did it the right way. Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here, Jay-Z. Jay-Z had a whole career. That nigga said 30's a new 20 when he became 30. The nigga said, I'm young forever. And now that he's 70, he trying to tell other, nah, y'all gotta make music like y'all old now, man. Nah, don't do what I was doing, saying 30 the new 20, young forever. Y'all gotta leave the youth alone. Man, don't get the fuck out of here. I keep telling y'all, man.
It's almost like it's a cry for the youth. Because Jay-Z doesn't have the influence that he once had. So it's almost, in this sense, it's almost like a cry for help.
Jay-Z the type of, bruv, when he ready to,
it's almost like a cry for help to stay relevant, to be relevant, to stay in that relevancy sort of game. But he understands that now no one cares about Jay-Z. You can walk around like New York or any place that's like really popping, and some 4 or 5-year-old kid, you ask me who Jay-Z is, I tell you, he won't know who he is. Unless you put Jay-Z in a Roblox suit, then he's not gonna know who that nigga is.
Jay-Z likes to put a bow in a lot of bull. The guy's 70, half his life. Jay-Z was like 50 when he was like, yo, I'm young forever. What you mean young forever? Let's go back and check out the map.
So Academics is the biggest platform in hip-hop media and creating discussions on hip-hop as well. And he is not a fan of how Jay-Z has been using his power recently. I will say he is 100% objective with his opinions on Jay-Z's music. He is a fan of Jay-Z's music, but when his company, Roc Nation, has been doing underhanded tactics to his company, to people that work for him, to people that he is close with, his interaction with Megan Thee Stallion and how he was brought into a lawsuit, of course, he doesn't want to see Jay-Z come into the game or try to come back into the game and succeed and thrive and just, pretty much get glazed by everybody else. So you're already, as Jay-Z, fighting against a strong narrative from Academics who is out there to not destroy you, but he's going to make sure that you are not seen in a positive light. And you should know that going into this, and to be honest, it's deserved. If I was Academics and I had to go through everything that Jay-Z's company subjected me to, then I'd probably feel the same.
I guess so, but then you're just looking for more confirmation bias to continue to inflate the idea that these people that attacked you, quote unquote, are bad people still. And that sort of demeanor or allure is never going to be removed off this person. This person and his business doings will always have the stench of negativity. I guess that's one way to look at it, but what if the rollout for this man's project is actually good? And then you're not able to see past that. That also could come into play.
Same way. But me personally, I don't have any issue with Jay-Z, and really, frankly, I have a lot of respect for Jay-Z, and I don't want to see him misrepresented. So one of the narratives that academics has been putting out, and I believe this is his real opinion.
I will say this about Jay-Z. He is a pretty shrewd business person, and like I said earlier in the video, that tactic that he did with Samsung to get all the... I think it was like he did a million first week via this tactic. Hold on. Let's ask the internet just really quickly. It was... I just want to make sure. Oh, shoot. Alright, here it is. Just want to make sure. What was the tactic Jay-Z used with Samsung to sell a million records? Jay-Z Samsung strategy to sell 1 million. Jay-Z partnered with Samsung in 2013 to promote the album Magna Carta Holy Grail. Holy cow, 2013, fam? Shit. That thing is already like 13 years old. Alright. To his album Magna Carta Holy Grail through a unique marketing strategy that involved a special app and a significant initial distribution model. Here's how he did it. Key elements of the tactic: exclusive release. The album was made available exclusively to Samsung Galaxy users before its official public release. This created a sense of urgency and exclusivity. Pre-downloaded copies. Samsung purchased 1 million copies of the album in advance, which allowed users to download it for free through the app. This direct consumer access helped boost initial sales figures significantly. So this nigga cheated his way to 1 million album sales because Samsung bought 1 million copies of the album and then posted them or gave them exclusively away on the Samsung Galaxy for free. So just like how the niggas from Bono gave you their album on the project for free, on your iPod for free, you just wake up one day and Bono's on your fucking iPod. Yeah, Jay-Z did the same tactic. You guys. He's selling over 1 million copies in a very short time, showcasing a shift in how music can be sold and marketed in the digital age, particularly leveraging technology for distribution. This tactic was a significant innovation in album marketing and distribution, influencing how artists and brands could collaborate in the future. I guess so. Sure. Why not? Let him have it.
Is that Jay-Z isn't the standard in hip-hop.
Jay-Z 60, we don't expect him to be a fashion icon. I don't think culturally, and this is where I think Jay-Z supporters, they're trying to rewrite the narrative this year. I don't think culturally anyone below the age of 30 looks at Jay-Z remotely close to how people look at him over the age of like 40. They just look at him as he was a good rapper. That's it. This idea of him being a GOAT, I don't think younger folks look at him like that. I think it's kind of like the conversation, except I don't believe that Jay ever really got immortalized like how Michael Jordan got immortalized as number one, right? For example, there's still people that are going to be like, nah, I was there when Kobe did this. Kobe's the greatest, right? And then you have the Kobe versus Mike debate. Then some people are going to be like, nah, man, it was, they're going to throw the LeBron in there. I don't think anybody feels Jay-Z is the bar. Sorry, this is Diet Coke.
Yeah, it's all based around I guess how influential the person was in your era. Then that's what also affects the ability for you to say like, oh, this person is better than this person, X, Y, and Z. I think it all has to play into the idea that this person was the biggest influence. If you had no influence of Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson, then you're not going to say, oh, he was the king of pop and he is legendary in basketball, all right? Especially if you grew up now. If you grew up now, you're probably going to say Steph Curry. Steph Curry and the Baby, greatest artist of all time. As ridiculous and fugazi as that might sound, some people that walk around here with those thoughts in mind. Fucking idiots, dude.
I don't think nobody feels Jay-Z is the bar that you compare every other rapper to. That's the difference between him and people wanting to make him Michael Jordan of rap.
So I disagreed with this a bit because we got to look at it from a domestic point of view and also a global point of view. And I would quote tweet this and say, and I would also go on a tirade about Jay-Z, kind of like, not a Jay-Z Glaze session, but it sounds like that because the sentiment around Jay-Z and his affiliates and his company is not good. Like whoever's working for him right now, you got to realize the sentiment by the average person, including me, is not good. We don't look upon him or his company favorably like maybe 10 years ago. Now the industry is misleading them because the industry looks at him favorably. They're willing to defend him. They have had good relationships with him and he has developed good relationships. But now the power is in the public's hands. Anyway, I would tweet, globally speaking, all of these rappers come before Jay-Z for what he's talking about. And I say Tupac, Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Notorious B.I.G. And the reason why I say this is because when rap music or rappers travel globally, most of these people's primary language, was not English. And hip hop is more than just rap. Like hip hop, originally, it was a culture, and it's comprised of, there was MCing, there was like rapping, there was DJing and turntables. You guys remember scratching? That was a huge thing. There's breakdancing, b-boying, and then graffiti, beatboxing, also, generally speaking, entrepreneurship as well, like being a hustler, building your own stuff, not taking the traditional path, and also fashion. So these other elements is what drives globally. So you see like West Coast influence style, you see like Wu-Tang Clan, like that type of clothing. These people that I mentioned, they all had far more of an influence globally with hip hop than Jay-Z. And that's why, like, Jay-Z, is he a better rapper than everyone on here, technically speaking? Quite possibly. But these people, they spread it.
Yeah, but in his own words, Jay-Z will tell you, dumb it down so you can sell more records. But I guess he didn't dumb it down enough, because even, what's his name? Even 50 Cent said the same thing. He said, globally, 50 Cent is bigger than Jay-Z is. You go to Africa, you go to different places in Africa, Asia, they are still playing in the club like it came out yesterday. No one is playing Jay-Z. There's only a few cats that are playing Jay-Z. And it's usually people that have a little bit more understanding of the nuance of American music. And then they'll most likely play like a, Empire State of Mind, or something similar to Young, Forever Young, with our good friend on there. But most people are not checking Jay-Z like that, bro. I'm sorry.
Further, and they are more recognizable. They would be able to pull bigger shows than Jay-Z, and it's not because they're technically better. And then I reverted back to domestically, and I'm like, all right, domestically though, Jay-Z is above all of them. Jay-Z went from Marcy Projects in Brooklyn when we didn't have the industry hadn't matured to what it did now, or not even now, but let's just say 2000s and 2010s. So he was selling drugs, and then now he's sitting on the board of Square, the company Square, a multi-billion-dollar corporation that the majority of businesses are using. Yes, the founders of Cash App, the founder of Twitter.
Yes, this is understandable, but this is what I'm saying. His business acumen is something that needs to be understood and studied. Yes, this is okay. But to say, like, domestically, yeah, I guess Jay-Z is a legend domestically, but like I said, in terms of his influence, a lot of the younger generation aren't even going to know or care. They're just going to be like, yes, Jay-Z is, because he's been in the game for so long, he can be looked at as a figurehead just by the amount of seniority he has. But in terms of like influence and things like that, he's definitely not going to be able to pull the Samsung nonsense he pulled 13 years ago today. It's not going to fly, bro. No one's going to want a random Jay-Z album on whatever iPhone they get.
Also founded Square, and they process $241 billion in payments annually. Jay-Z is on their board. That is the greatest jump that we have ever seen in history when it comes to entrepreneurship for a rapper. And that is an important part of hip hop. But I also talk about like influencing culture, right? Domestically, the Super Bowl, it's a huge deal in America, maybe a little bit in Canada too, because Canadians have their own football league. But globally, it's not the hottest thing in the world, right? It's not the FIFA World Cup. It's not even the NBA Finals. NBA Finals globally is bigger than the Super Bowl. But he runs the Super Bowl halftime show. He put on the programming for that. So he's with Roger Goodell. He's with the commissioners of the NFL. He's with billionaires that run, and he's on the board. He's just not hanging out with these guys. He's doing business with them. They have respect for him. He's in the Epstein files in a way where they give him favor. They're like, hey, this guy, he's the guy that runs culture. You go to him, and he'll make sure you're straight. So they have esteem for him in this regard. We don't know how they think about him, but the only time we've ever seen how they talk about Jay-Z, it's from...
We know how we think about him, dude. He's a black guy hanging around a bunch of, the boys. How else do you think they look at him, bro? Yeah, he's the guy you go to for the culture, but we all know secretly how they talk about him behind closed doors, fam.
Respect for what he's able to do. And a family with a superstar. That's peak. Like, he's married to Beyonce. Him and Beyonce have really had no public arguments. Like, you could say Lemonade and the whole cheating scandal and all that, but the woman he cheated with never came out.
Yeah, and that was like a decade ago, dude. And the fact that she stayed with her mans while the majority of most of these women are just randomly getting up and leaving, and she decided to stay with her mans, that should tell you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know about the relationship, or how powerful this young man is, bro. It should tell you everything you need to know about Jay-Z and his strength.
Out publicly. She never said anything. We don't know what she looks like. It's all rumors. His family is quiet. His kids have never done anything crazy.
Because as quickly as, what's his name, Offset was doing dumb shit, Cardi B left. The dumb shit that Jay-Z is doing, Beyonce is not saying and saying. She'll make an album out of it, sure, but she's not going to go public and humiliate her mans, bro. You know what I mean? Because that's how powerful the mans is, bro.
We never saw, like, I don't want to make comparisons between people's kids. I just find that to be disrespectful, especially celebrities' kids. Well, they're the ones who people are going to make comments on. But you look at their daughter, she's not doing the most. She's not hanging out with bad influences that are celebrities when she can. So they're doing their best to raise a family where we haven't seen any controversy. You don't have anything to say about their daughter, Blue Eye.
Right, but in nature or in life as a whole, you should never compare anyone's kids to anybody else, especially like parents. Parents do that all often. They'll be like, "Oh, you're not like Aunt Jackie's kids, or you're not like Jeremy's kids." He's like, "No, don't compare the kids because the upbringing is different, fam. Don't go around doing that." Anyway, guys, that's Jay-Z's rollout. We don't know what the fuck he's rolling out. At the end of the whole video, what did we learn? We didn't learn anything about this rollout of a project or an album. Is it a project? Is it an album that Jay-Z's coming out with? Or is he just talking about rolling out? We don't know. Maybe Jay-Z has reached the pinnacle of business. He's too high up on the apex calendar. He's reached a point of no return. I guess we'll never know.